I slowly built a habit of getting up every morning at 4:30 and doing, first it was like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then it turned into almost an hour workout every single day. And eventually I got down to 170 pounds.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I held that for like 4 or 5 years. And I'm not going to use excuses that I got hurt at work and all that crap. But the point is I broke those habits and went back to being heavy, but it's possible. And I'm working on that same habit building now. I'm only doing it 3 days a week. I need to get up every morning and do it, but so it's possible. I'm going to do that Friday. I'm going to make a 3-hour block for agent attraction and work on just getting those contacts going.
I love that. That's great, share. And I think that's why we're doing this, right? Is so that we can grow together.
Yeah, it's to be accountable to one another and put those goals in place. So next week we can say, hey, this is what I did, and this is what I'm going to do better. And this is the feedback I have. This is the question I got from an agent or a friend that I didn't know how to answer. How would you answer that question? How would you come back to that? So we're going to work on our skills just by having those conversations with each other. So I think probably for today, I'd say that the challenge today is put your time in your calendar like an appointment that you're going to dedicate to attraction. And it may be 1 hour or 2 hours or whatever that is, but put it in there like an appointment. Don't change it for anything. And if you haven't finished your SOI of everyone that you know that should be in your real estate business already, then spend that time doing that. Or setting up some systems or work on some scripts. Even if you don't call anyone the first week, just set that in your calendar and be true to that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that my thoughts is I want to do a half hour every day. But it's like, what do I put in that half hour? Because you've got to, if I'm going to do that small of a chunk, it's like I got to have a list of what I'm going to be doing. Another thing that I just wanted to mention that I feel like has helped a lot for Jeff and I is we wrote a goal out and put it on our whiteboards right in front of us. And so every day I look at that and it just gets my mind going, like, okay, well, who else can I think of? Or who else can I reach out to, or just say something to them is better than nothing, and make a connection. So I think having that goal right in front of you, it makes you just, I don't know, it's like front of mind.
Yes.
It's like Rob Flick's wealth chart, right? I've got one and I need to hang it on the damn wall.
Yeah.
So I can look at it every day.
Yeah.
I love whiteboard.
Go ahead.
I love whiteboards.
Yes,
But
you do.
but what I was going to say, the other thing that I've committed to is that I'm going to schedule one coffee date each week with a new agent, somebody that I haven't met, somebody that maybe I've talked to, or a lender or somebody, so I can establish my network. Since I'm new and I don't know a lot of agents or don't have a lot of personal connections in the field here, that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to have one coffee date per week with somebody new.
I love it.
I love that too.
So I'm writing that down. So that's
Thank
part of our accountability for next week. It's because that's originally what Jeff and I wanted to do, is be accountable to each other in this meeting. And we wanted to open it up to anyone that wanted to participate. So there's no beatings or lashings if you don't hit your goals or anything. This is just about helping each other and trying to get better at that accountability and hitting some of those goals, because we're going to have successes if we hit those goals and we stay true to that time frame.
I love the fact that you guys are actually here right now having this conversation with us. There's a lot on our team that aren't here, so kudos to that for sure.
Amen to that, for sure.
Starts with a desire.
Yes. So one thing I was thinking about too is I put together just some scripts too that I can share with you guys, just about your SOI. that I think can be really good for not just agent attraction, but also potential business too. So the reason I wanted you to do your entire SOI and update it, even non-agents, is they are really good sources for agents, maybe even better sources for agents than the agents we personally know, if we can tap into them. So one thing that I felt at Build when we were in San Antonio just a month ago was that there's a lot of agents out there that really are desperate. They don't know what to do. They've thought about leaving the business. A lot are leaving the business, and they need some kind of help. They need some energy. They need some fire. They need something to work on. And we may not know some of those agents, but our friends do. Family knows some of those agents. And if you ask anyone, how many agents do you know? I need 3 referrals on realtors. Almost everyone's going to give you 3. That's a non-realtor, right? Everybody knows a realtor or 2, right?
Yeah, and I also, on that note, I really like, when you go out to eat and you have a good waiter or waitress, and just say, who's the best real estate agent you know? And if you get this random name, random person, but then you have a topic to call them on and say, hey, I had so-and-so, at this restaurant, they're my waitress, and they love you and say you're the best agent in town. And even if you're going out of town or somewhere, you're not even in your area, but that's one of the things I heard at one of the conferences that would be so easy, because you don't know them. You don't have a contact, so you don't have to be embarrassed or anything about it.
And that could be a coffee date.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
For sure.
The more we open our mouth, the more we're going to open our mouth, and more conversations we're going to have, whether it's the SOI or other agents. I just want to give a quick example. I told you about this earlier, but I was listening to Kurt Shewell's presentation today, and there was a gal on there up in Bend, Oregon, top producer up there, been in real estate for over 20 years. Before she jumped on the call, he was talking to the guy that invited her to the call, and he said, so how did you meet so-and-so? I don't remember her name. And he says, well, I was at a concert the other day, and she turned around and said, how tall are you? Apparently he's pretty tall. And she was comparing, she knew somebody else that was super tall, and they just struck a conversation, which eventually led to him finding out she was a realtor. And a couple days later, she's on an overview call with Kurt Shewell.
Pretty powerful. Yeah, easy conversation. And I was listening to kind of a presentation on Eric, what's his name? Ormond? Orland?
Overland.
I don't know. But he's an agent with about 2,500 agents in EXP. And, one of the things that he says is just be very simple in your introduction. Like, one of the things he says is, have you looked at EXP in the last couple of months? Because a lot of agents say, yeah, I've looked at EXP, I know what's going on, but have you looked into EXP in the last couple of months? What's happening? Let's have a conversation. Like, keeping it really, really simple. And then with your SOI, Stacy, I know I've shared this with you too, but like just calling up anyone in your SOI and say, hey, how you doing? What's going on? That's great. Love to catch up. But the reason for my call is I know that I'm a realtor here in Salt Lake, and I'm sure you've heard about all the changes in real estate, the higher interest rates, and a lot of brokerages are struggling right now, and agents are struggling. And I have dedicated myself to helping those agents that need some help in the business. So fortunately, our brokerage, eXp Realty, is thriving. We are growing right now. We're actually opening up 3 new countries this year. That's how well we're doing. So I just wonder if you could do me a favor. First, do you know any realtors here in the US that maybe would need some more business, or maybe you've heard that has been struggling? And get that answer. And then the next question would be, second, do you have any friends, or do you know anyone outside of the United States? Not agents, just do you know anyone that lives in other countries? So the reason you're asking that instead of agents is because not very many people are going to know other agents in other countries, but they may know people in other countries. So, and I don't know if you guys have heard, all of you have heard the story of Annie, who just joined our team. She owns a restaurant here in Draper, and I've been talking to her for about a year about real estate. Her daughter just got her license, But the reason that she got her license is because we were talking about international. So we're in the works of working with EXP Corporate and opening Indonesia with some of her contacts in Jakarta in Indonesia. So, so she has some contacts with some really large brokerages back home. That's where she's from. And we're not open there yet, but we will be. It'll be probably first quarter of 2024. But, another thing that Eric Orland said was one conversation and one contact can completely change your life. And you don't know who that is. And he actually, in this video that I was watching, he named that one person for him. He said, that one contact completely changed my business and how my EXP is growing. So just keep that in mind. I mean, you might talk to 100 friends, but you might get 1 or 2 contacts out of there that can completely change what happens in your business. So talk to your SOI, ask them who they know, and you're just coming from a point of service. You sincerely want to help other agents do better. So that's an SOI script. The one Eric Orland said that he really, really likes with agents is, have you taken a look at EXP Realty in the last couple of months? And then he follows up with it. If there was a model that could provide 3 income sources instead of just the one that you have now, and one of those sources was passive, would you be open-minded to set aside 30 minutes to learn how it could be of interest to you? Super simple. And what I like about what he said, he explains this too in that video. We can share that video as well. But he says, would you be open-minded? That's the key thing to it, because who's going to say, no, I am not open-minded?
No, I'm closed-minded.
I am closed-minded. So it's a little bit of a play on words there. It's like, would you be open-minded enough to take 30 minutes of your time to take a look at it? And you can send them Grantville video, you can watch it with them, whatever the case is, but that's a really easy introduction. I like that.
I love that. Are we gonna put these in
Yeah.
Team Limitless
Yeah.
Facebook
Yeah,
group?
I'll put them in there for sure.
That's great.
Well, I can do a summary like I did last time.
Yeah, you did an amazing job on that too. She watched it and she liked our first one that Eric did last week for this Thrive Thursdays, and so she rewatched it and took some notes and everything, and she broke it down pretty good. And so that's in Team Limitless Facebook group if you haven't been there, along with the recording of just the introduction. So those of you like that have team members like Shayna for Patricia and for Carol and Rhonda that may not have been on that call last week, maybe direct them towards that recording and see if we can't get them engaged. If they're interested in what we're interested in being here today, talking about this growth and helping other agents, then maybe we can pull them in. And so, yeah, that was really good.
Well, I was just thinking of that just because you started talking about international, and Patricia has contacts out in Brazil. So I was like, oh, Star, I need to send this recording to her and say, hey, we talked about international, today. Watch this recording.
Nice.
Hello.
So where are you putting all this information up for us to look at, Ashley or Jeff?
Have you ever been in our it's a private Facebook group for Team Limitless? Haven't you been in there, Kathy?
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was, but I wasn't sure if I was in the right place or not or something. So it's in Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm. Team Limitless. I'm pretty sure you remember
She's
it.
commented on
Yeah,
it.
you've been in there.
Yeah, okay.
So we just posted in there. You've already joined. Ashley just confirmed that. So if you just start searching Team Limitless, it's gonna pull up as one of your groups.
Okay.
You can jump in there.
And that's where you post like any of these training recordings and all that too that we're
Mm-hmm.
part of? Okay. Alrighty, I'll check it out again.
Awesome. Shayna, were you on last week?
No, I was not.
Okay, you jumped on a little bit late today, but I don't know if you caught that our homework for last week was just to put together our list. You know, like you would coach a new agent, as you do, to put together the list of SOI. So updating your SOI list and putting together a list of agents that you have worked with, want to work with, that you know, that's just kind of was step one that we talked about. And then a commitment of how much time, whether it's one day for an hour, Ashley said every day for 30 minutes, whatever that might be, what kind of time block can you commit to for your agent attraction? And that first meeting that we had last week, you heard us talking about that. That's in the Facebook group. If you want to watch that or listen to it while you're driving or something, that recording's in there. I'm excited to watch this grow. I'm excited to watch us grow.
Yeah.
From doing this, so.
It's such a, I mean, we all know the stories of what revenue share and growing a team can do. But it's always about the consistency, kind of what Nathan was talking about. It's you have to do it every week, you have to be consistent, and it's okay to become obsessed with it, right? And helping other agents. And I love, if you were to offer this to anybody in any industry and say, hey, if you spend an hour a week additional on this one little project, you could potentially give yourself a $3,000 raise for every agent that came in, right? Because that's what you're doing. If you have an agent come in that's a capper, you just gave yourself a $3,000 annual raise, and you're helping them come to a better place and giving them an opportunity to do the same thing. So I love the fact that we have an ability to really grow it as large as we want. And, when I look at real estate, I think about, I can only show so many houses at once, like one, I show one house at one time, right? You can't,
Like it's exactly one.
you can't leverage yourself any further than that. So, that's why we like listings, right? Because you can have other agents working for you and you're leveraging your time with listings. Well, this just takes it another step further, which is why successful teams and successful agents look at maybe opening their own brokerage someday because they want that leverage. We have the opportunity to create that leverage without all the headaches and the risk of owning a brokerage. And there's never been an opportunity like this in real estate. And I love what Eric Orland says in this video. We'll have to share that for sure. But he said, when you look at the model, this is the best opportunity in any industry. It's not just real estate. It's not just real estate. When you think about what it can grow and like have a worldwide business without even being a broker, it's just ridiculous.
One thing that you had said was everybody knows the stories.
Mhm.
And as I was just thinking about that, like Shayna hasn't been to Build. She doesn't know all the stories. And so it's like, I feel like because we've been to so many events, it's like, oh, everybody
Yeah.
knows the opportunity that we have. But you don't unless you're going to the events and you're hearing all those stories, which is why I'm excited for EXPCon. But that's just one thing that like hit me is that everybody doesn't know on our team.
Here's a comment on that. I'm glad you brought that up because going to the event is more important than saying, oh, they're going to record all these trainings, I'll just watch them later, because nobody does.
Right.
You're not going to sit there for 3 solid days or even get 3 solid days of content in the next year by watching hour after hour of all these things. But when you're there, you're immersed, you're present, you've set your time blocked out, you're in another state, right?
Yeah.
Another country maybe, and you pay attention and you get more out of it. So don't let the fact that these things are recorded and are available to you by not going to Vegas or San Antonio or Cabo or whatever trick you into not going, because you will not get the same thing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
And they're doing the 5 free certifications at EXPCon this year too. So you can be certified for pretty much all the major lead sources that EXP provides just by going.
It's awesome.
And if you go, you can actually get a free ticket for a non-EXP agent that's licensed and bring them with them. Bring them with you. And it could be from any brokerage, and you can say, hey, this is not about you joining EXP, it's about you being able to provide an income better for your family. Come learn about how to sell more real estate, and it's free. And they'll probably get immersed into EXP and want to join anyway, but it's a really easy sale. Say, hey, you can, if you're in Salt Lake, you can ride down with me. I've got your ticket. All you need to do is figure out the hotel room and you're good.
Mhm.
And you're gonna get incredible training and benefit from it. So
So Stacy, will you do me a favor, just for the benefit of those that maybe don't know the story and for the recording, so we can share this with our other agents later, is for San Antonio for you and with Rhonda and your relationship with her before and the invite to go there was exactly what Eric just said. I want you to do more business. There's so much great training here. You are going to sell more homes if you attend this event with me. Come with me. Will you kind of briefly share that with these guys?
Sure. So
Thanks.
the simple background is when I moved here 5 years ago, she was the realtor that sold me my home. And we had kept in touch over the years, but after I got my license, she really took me under her wings and introduced me to people. But anyway, we've become very good friends through all this. I did share EXP with her initially, and she's very loyal and content with her brokerage, and had no intention, but she does love inspiration and motivational events. And I had invited her to Cabo shareholders. She already had plans for those. So when she turned me down for shareholders, I invited her to San Antonio, knowing that that was a couple more months out, and she was able to plan around it. So she agreed to go, and she said, I'm not switching. I said, that's fine. But she loved it. She had a great time, not only at the event, but also making connections with everybody that was there. It really made her take a look at where she's at with her business right now and her current numbers. And she really says it was just a no-brainer. After she's done a ton of research, she's watched a ton of videos lately, but she never would have done that if she hadn't been at the event.
definitely worth it.
That was awesome. And we got to meet her because we were there as well. And so we know and love her and we're happy to have her on the team. And that, like you said, that wouldn't have happened. You couldn't have gone to the event and said, oh, I'll just bring back the nuggets. And, we talked about it after the events and we want to share and hopefully get you guys excited to go to the next event when we come back. Right. But it's just not the same. You could not have inspired her the way she was inspired by being in that energy and around all those people and meeting them and actually experiencing it, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And even I've heard it said before, but the things that motivated me from that event are not the same things that resonated with her. So maybe what I would have brought home from the event wouldn't have meant a whole lot to her, but she was there, and what she heard that resonated with her was impactful enough that she did more research and decided to switch brokerages.
I'm so happy for you, but honestly, I'm even more happy for Rhonda.
Oh, me too.
Because when you meet somebody and you get to know somebody and love somebody, and they can see the benefits of coming over, it's gonna change and enhance her lives, and she's gonna share with others. That's gonna help, help other agents that are gonna be so grateful that she shared EXP with them. So it's just, it's well done. That's just a great job. And I love something that Brent always says when somebody tells him, hey, I'm going to be at Build. And he says, well, that's great. But it's not about you. It's who are you bringing with you?
Yeah, I love
right? How many are you bringing? Because we already know that you understand EXP and what it's going to do for you, but you need to share with others and make sure that they see it too.
Yeah, and congrats on doing that, Stacey, because you didn't get a free guest ticket to take her.
Yeah.
You took her.
Yeah, good for you.
So she did come over to your team then, Stacy?
She's done the joint application. She's told her broker that she is leaving.
Okay.
She had a meeting with him yesterday, and he's going to run the numbers. He's going to watch the video, the model explained, and he is going to run the numbers for her and show her why the numbers don't work in her favor. So that should be an interesting conversation. But they have to figure out what she's doing with her current listings and stuff. So they're not done conversing, but She's close and I don't think she'll change her mind. She's pretty resolved that this is what she needs to do for her retirement.
Mhm. Okay. I was just curious. I hope he doesn't change her mind. Yeah. That would not be good after all your efforts. So,
No, she's pretty darn strong and she sees it. She's very excited. She's talked to other agents about it already.
mhm.
So one other thing too, I wanted to share today is keep in mind, we've all decided that we're gonna do the first Wednesday of every month. Is gonna be an EXP overview and not a training. So that's 3 weeks from yesterday will be our first one. Obviously, we're gonna Zoom that if you're local, get people here. So over the next couple of weeks, as we kind of work on our goals and talking to people and agents, always keep that in mind that we've got that date coming up. And I believe that is September 6th.
Yes, September 6th.
September 6th. So we're gonna do an overview and we're gonna incorporate some new things in that overview. So it'll be a new EXP overview from us that you've never seen before. So that'll be fun.
Yeah,
I think it might be fun to do a little competition to see
Yeah.
how many people we can get. That might be something. I don't know, just with the small
Yeah,
group that we have.
yeah.
So
for sure.
when you think about planting seeds and foundation of people, if you've had that conversation over coffee,
Mhm.
and then maybe a few days later, they watch the Brent Go video, and then you answer some questions, and now they're coming to your team's EXP overview and Zoom, they're gonna see the things in a different light than if that's the first exposure they've had. So it'll just be more confirmation and they'll pick up some other points and they'll learn a different point of view. That's really what I'm hoping that we can all focus on is let's make lots of touches and plant some seeds, and then we can invite them to that overview each month.
Work up to it.
Work up to it, yeah.
One other thing on the events, our events are pretty big and it's a pretty big commitment for people to take, almost a week off with some of them away from work, plane tickets, hotels, eating out. It's expensive and a lot of time away from their business. So if there's events locally that you can tap into and like your EXP explained is a great way to introduce somebody without the huge commitment.
Mhm.
And speaking of that, there's an event in Vancouver, Washington on September 13th, and it is hosted, I believe, by Kim Frazier or Randy Bird, and Brent Gove will be there speaking. It's only a couple of hours. It's from like 1 to 3:30 or something. The tickets are free. So I've got a couple people that are going to go with me to that. We're just going to drive down for the day. It's about 4 hours from here, but it's less of a commitment. It's 1 day away.
Mhm.
And start small.
Is that the one that's going to be held in Vancouver, Washington?
Yes, Kathy, you want to come?
Yes, I would like to come because I can fly over there to Portland, and I've actually even scoped it out to find out how far of a taxi ride it would be from the airport to the Vancouver. And so, yes, I'm working on that with, my plans.
Very
So,
nice.
I mean, if it's free, yeah. I mean, for me, I could fly over. You can check the flights over. I could fly over early morning and be there like by 8:30 or even 10:30, and plenty of time for the class, and then take the late flight home. So I wouldn't even have to have a hotel bill. So I could do that.
Right.
Would be an easy do for me. Yes, I would.
I think Shantae is planning on being at that event too, so she'll be driving from Salem. She could,
Oh,
I'm-
yeah, that's.
I'm
much
gonna
easier.
throw her under the bus. She might be able to pick you up.
Yeah, well, it's a 6-hour drive from here to here, because we actually have to go along I-84. We have to follow the Columbia as if we're going down to Eugene, Oregon or something. We just take off, then we go north to Vancouver. So that's the easiest way to drive, but that's a long drive for me, by myself. So I've never really driven that way, except when we moved up here, we drove 2 vehicles. So, but Terry was always in front of me. So, but it's just
Awesome.
easy for me to fly because I have free flying straight from here to Seattle to Portland is where I have to go. So it's a
Okay.
no-brainer. So I
From
will
Salem, it's like an hour and a half.
yeah, exactly. Because I used to live in Eugene and it was only 2 hours to Portland. So yeah. So that was even more doable, but I can do it too by flying in and not have to worry about the road or anything, gas money. So it's really pretty free for me, except for lunch maybe, you know.
Nathan,
Awesome. Well, we'll,
Nathan,
we'll expect a
I'll try
report
to-
on that.
I'll try to
event.
make it a day,
Yeah.
so that would be great, yeah.
nice. I will
Let me-
see you there. Nathan, are you gonna come?
Yeah, I've got my tickets. I'm gonna be meet Shantae in Salem, and then we're gonna carpool up.
Awesome.
Cool, cool. So maybe we get to see each other all again, you know, before EXPCon. So we are going to that too. My son's coming from Atlanta as well to EXPCon. So and his
Excellent.
husband, we got a one room with 2 queen beds for 4 of us. So me and 3 guys.
I presently have 3 rooms for EXPCon, so
Oh, well, we have our room reserved already too. So
That's awesome.
we're
Stacey.
just trying to
Way to
make it
commit.
easier.
Good
Trying to
job.
make it easier on cost for my son too, as well as us. So it's all good. So
Hey, so Eric, had you come up with any homework for this week?
Yeah, basically just schedule out your time that you're gonna put on your calendar, put it in your calendar right now or sometime today of what you're gonna do over the next week. If it's 1 or 2 hours, 3 hours, put it in your calendar and stick to it. And if you haven't done last week's homework, do that.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
just start reaching out to your SOI. Even if you want to work up to agents, if you haven't been talking to agents yet, work up to it by just getting some agent referrals from some of your SOI.
I got one to add. So.
Okay, yeah.
Well, just like we need to be better at our careers in helping people buy and sell real estate. So that's why we attend trainings and we try and, learn more things to help our clients. We have to invest part of our days and our weeks into education, right? I'm gonna kind of put it out there for this as well, that we need to invest a portion of our time on education, not just show up here once a week on Thursdays and chat and hopefully we move the needle and we make some progress and we get better at this. But I would challenge you, it doesn't have to be official homework, whatever, but to also block in some time for education on agent attraction. Listening to podcasts from other agents, going into EXP world and seeing when they're teaching in the cloud and metaverse, the agent attraction classes, watching like Stacy's gone through all of Brent Gove's videos and podcasts and everything, just immerse yourself in it. But even if it was just an hour a week or 2, 20 minutes a day, or while you're exercising or going for a walk or something, let's continue our education on this from the amazing sources that are available to all of us by the agents that are sharing their success, like we get at the events. We can get that daily and get that dose to just help us be better.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's what I'm doing every day. Like if I'm driving, I'm listening to something in the morning. It's the first thing I put on and start listening to. Most of it is agent attraction that I'm learning, because you're just hearing the same, a lot of the same scripting and word, how to phrase certain things properly. If you start to internalize it. And if you guys haven't watched Gene Frederick's new napkin presentation it was like 5 or 6 months ago, that is such a good video, because it's not about, it's really not about EXP being, how do I say it? Like it doesn't go through and say, hey, this is how much money you can make. This is how revenue share works. It really talks about, this is why EXP is so different and why EXP is really taking over the real estate world and changing it. You really understand it. That's what I really like about it, is you feel like I get it. I get it, because the way he explains it really helps you understand the obvious things. Because like even Gene says, agents just don't get it, do they? It's like, we eliminated all of the expenses in real estate that have been around for 100 years. And we're actually making enough money to give half of the money we collect back to agents. And we've given $240 million last year in revenue share and stock
Back to the agent.
back to the agents. When other agents are losing money or not agents, but other brokerages are actually losing money right now. EXP is growing and profitable and giving away that much back. And it's because you have to really understand the model. And right now it's so relevant because of what's going on in the industry, that if you really understand the model, it makes sense to you.
Yeah, Stacy said in the chat that it simplifies why the model works.
Yeah.
Search Gene Frederick's new napkin presentations, because there's other versions out there. He did this purposely to kind of explain the mindset behind the presentation as well. And Eric and I are even going to incorporate some of that into our overview. But what I like about it is, and this is why we're going to incorporate it in the overview, is because diving deep into the 7 tiers and how revenue share works and stuff like that, the mechanics of all of that can be confusing. But like Stacy's comment, the why of it, it's like, what are your other alternatives for creating a retirement for yourself and helping others create a requirement for that, or a retirement for them. And when he connects it that way, and it really is simplified in, wow, I only have to do this, whether it takes a year or 5 years. The end goal is pretty substantial, and you get to help people on the way. And it just gives you a different approach and an emotion about why this is so important for other agents and what they can accomplish. So watch those napkin presentations and you'll know what I'm talking about. And Stacy's on it. She's already posted a link.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
In
so
the chat.
when you finish watching that, for me, what it did for me is it really helps your mindset of, I want this revenue share for me and my family, to I really want this for other agents that don't know about it or understand it. And I guarantee you 99% of the agents out there that have heard of EXP and think they know what it's all about, do not understand it the way it really works, which is what that video explains. So you come away from it saying, I want to share this and help people understand it, so they know what's available to them. I think that's the big takeaway from me from it, is just wanting to help other agents see it. So
Awesome. I'm glad you brought that up. Any last thoughts?
No, besides, I think Shayna and I are committing to come to EXP.
nice. Yes.
Yeah, yes.
So I have a little bit of news.
Let's hear it.
Please share.
So it seems like I'm gonna have to either buy another house, a second house, or add a bedroom to this house.
Oh,
What?
Oh, boy.
So second grandbaby on the way. About 7 months left.
Wow, congratulations.
That's incredible.
So yeah, I gotta have at least $500,000 here in about 7 months.
Hey,
We all have our why.
Yeah.
That's motivation.
Yeah.
Nathan, did you say grandbaby? Or
Yeah, yeah.
Grandbaby, okay, cool.
Grandbabies are way better than kids.
True.
I haven't found much difference yet, but the grandbaby lives with me, so I don't get to spoil her and send her home because she's already here.
It's pretty much like mine. That's awesome.
Jeff,
Good
I have a
news.
question for you. You gotten your water park all fixed up and everything finalized? I'm waiting for your announcement of a party at your house.
Well, pins and needles, baby. We've had to switch some gears on some things, and so it's still we got some construction going on, but we're getting closer.
Yeah.
My house is a freaking mess right now.
Yeah, but it's not stopping the parties. We got birthday parties planned, ready to go.
Are you gonna have anything this year, or are you gonna have to wait till next year?
I don't know. I've been so, distracted and just,
Sort of subject, maybe?
we'll definitely try and put something together. We'll let you know.
Alrighty.
Let me know ahead of time so I can plan to fly over.
That would be awesome and amazing.
Where do you live at, Nathan? Where do you live at, Nathan?
Sweet Home, Oregon.
Oh,
So about 40 miles from Eugene.
Yeah, because we lived down there for almost 10 years before moving back here to Spokane, 5 years ago. So I had to live down there and take a job. That was where my break in real estate was, is because I had to go back to a real paying job, you know, for my husband when he became a disabled firefighter from Spokane Airport. So that's been 18 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that's where we were living. We actually lived in Harrisburg is where we were living at, just north of Eugene. So, cool, okay.
Well, guys, we're gonna wrap up here. We're coming on an hour here, so have an amazing week and put those goals down on your calendar or set your time, lock in your times and be true and faithful to it and do some education too.
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome.
I love it. Love you
Yeah.
guys.
guys
Hopefully we see you Monday morning on Mastermind. And we got a great training coming up on Wednesday too on, the title's Branding Like a Boss, right?
Yeah.
Branding Like a Boss.
Love it.
So, yeah, we can all learn something from that as well. So have a great weekend and see you guys soon.
See you guys.
See ya.